Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. For this week's episode, I decided to talk about something that I work towards every day and something that's important to me, and that is balance. So most of you may be like, oh, I'm pretty balanced, and that's okay. You can be pretty balanced. This is just a share for folks who maybe are struggling, who are seeking alignment, and that's what I'm here for. So anyway, balance to me kind of feels like a quiet victory, and it's something that I didn't always know how to reach. And I chose this topic because honestly, I have lived so out of balance in my past. And now that I've gotten to a place where I feel like I've obtained it, I'm excited to share because it helps me feel aligned and it has helped me feel deeply at peace. And I think that that's a lot to say because most of us are struggling to find even an ounce of peace in our lives. So yeah, I'm happy to talk about the areas of which I am weak, which is several. So pretty much it all started with work. I remember the first time I started registering the fact that I was really imbalanced. I would be responding to emails constantly after work hours, and I always felt this weird pressure. Now, no one has ever told me that I needed to respond to emails after hours, but I just personally felt this like pressure to be more or give more, even if it wasn't reciprocated by who I was helping out, even if it could have been done the next morning. I just was always sort of pushing myself to give my energy out to people who didn't really need it or deserve it at the level I was giving it. And then I would just feel guilty and then anxious too. And I think that that's normal for anxiety to come with an imbalance. I was also imbalanced in relationships heavily. I was giving my all to people. I was giving and giving and giving, and they would take and they would take and they would take and seldom give in return. They would a little, but it was nothing compared to the level of give that I was giving. So I have since pulled back immensely and have since also learned to accept things that are given to me and also to communicate when I'm feeling lack or when I'm feeling stressed or anxious. So the best way for me to kind of give this visual is if you can just picture a triangle and you have your mind, you have your body, and you have your soul. And to me, there's this foundation being built here, like with the triangle, right? So areas to seek and create balance are within the mind, within your body, and within your soul. And it's very easy once you start to get it. It may take you a while to get it, and there's no shame in that. But once it clicks, it's like, duh. So, let's start with, which one do I want to talk about? Let's talk about the mind. Let's do the mind first. So when it comes to the mind, our mind is so powerful, right? We have this logical brain that has to try to make sense of every single thing. It's a computer doing its thing. It's a computer computing. The mind can also attack us, and it can be our worst enemy. The mind sometimes tells us mean things that are not true about ourselves. So the first thing to do to create something positive is to cut out any and all negative self-talk. None of that. Slap your hand. The second you start saying, no way, that is not who you are. You are a divine being. You are divinely guided. You are God energy. You are source energy. You are creator. You are joy. You are love. You are light. And just tell yourself nothing but positive things. You are a capable person. Start saying affirmations, but start saying them to the point where you believe nothing but these words of love about yourself, because you are deserving of all of the love in the world, and you are deserving to be alive and to experience joy. And just remember that. So number one is no negative self-talk. Number two is with the mind, creating positive mental habits. So that could be just like from the moment you wake up, or it could also be when you go to bed. So one of the things that I like to do for myself is I speak affirmations into a little cup of water, and I sort of like pray. They're like prayer affirmations, and I just tell the water all the positive things that I feel about life and myself, and that I'm a receiver of love and light, that I'm a divine channel, that I am God energy, that I am divinely guided and protected by my angels, by my guides. And what I do is I whisper it into the water, and then I drink the water and I seal it with a little amen. And I usually say like, and so it is, or something that feels like nice and whimsy and like my vibe. You create whatever resonates with you, say whatever resonates with you. So just always kind of rising above. It is so easy to slip into these like, I'm so stupid kind of negative self-talk. If you screw up, you screw up. But they're truly, if milk spills, clean it up, right? There's no use of crying over it. Accidents happen, people make mistakes, and we are all on this human journey together. And I think that we tend to forget the fact that we're all here together. We all chose to come to Earth together. So if someone faults you or makes you feel small, they're the problem. You are love and light, and just remember that. So that's number one for the mind. Now, if we're going to dip into the body, this is where it can be a little more challenging, but there's a loophole, right? And it's finding something that you actually enjoy doing. So I can, because I have a very sedentary job, so I can slip into lethargy real quick. And I will sit at my desk sometimes from the moment I'm in the office until the moment I leave. It's ridiculous. And I didn't even register that I was doing that until like semi-recently when my back started hurting. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Oh, maybe it's because I sit for 55 hours a day. So I was like, what do I like to do? I don't like working out. I don't like working out. I have gone through CrossFit. I was a cross-farter. I did F45. I've done any kind of gym you can imagine, I've done. And I've had fun during the classes, and I've had fun doing things, but it was never like a sustainable thing for me. And also gyms were like, I live in Philly. Gyms are so expensive here, and I just felt like I was only sort of liking it, but I always felt like I had to do it. It wasn't like an enjoyment. So one day I was like, oh, I don't know, like I got to figure it out, because I can feel that my body is starting to hurt, and I'm not old. There's no reason for me to have these like aches and pains. I'm like, hey mom, this and this and this hurts. And she's like, same. And I'm like, wait, but you're like almost 70. So what's up with that? Time to make some changes. Anyway, I discovered for myself, yoga has been something that really makes me feel happy. And it also helps quiet my mind, and it helps me feel connected to God while I'm doing it. And it helps me feel connected to myself. I feel very grounded when I'm doing it. And I'm also getting a good workout in too. So that's kind of like finding something that you enjoy doing is really going to help. And it's okay if it takes you a year. It's okay if it takes you 2 years to figure it out. It took me several years to figure out that I hate working out, but I love yoga. And that's all okay. It's just really leaning into what you resonate with and connecting with that part of yourself. I'm in such a high frequency right now, so I'm sorry if I pause at all. It's that's who I am. Okay, so even when it comes to being at work, I try to create and break up my day. And what I'll do is like, I didn't start setting timers, but like some people wear Apple Watches where it does the whole breathing thing, or like you've been sitting for too long, stand up. You can do that. If you don't have an Apple Watch, you can set little alarms, or you can just kind of intuitively lean into when you're feeling like you need to stretch. And I think when you start listening to your body, right, because it's not so much about doing, it's more about listening to the needs that your body is telling you and leaning into that and creating movement around that. So I will stand up from my desk, and sometimes I'll just take a walk down the hall just to see what another one of my coworkers are doing. I'm fortunate where I work in a very large building that has stairs, so sometimes I'll take the steps up to another level and check out what people are doing, or I'll take a walk around the block. Because I'm in Philly, I have access to a lot of places to escape to. But if you don't, you can simply just do little stretches at your desk. It can even just be wrist movement just to create something. But anyway, finding that kind of balance between the mind and the body, and leaning into areas that make you feel good and happy and connected to your inner higher self is what's going to kind of create that alignment. Okay, so, and I'm so sorry, I do get a little distracted because I'm in such a high frequency, so I apologize again if I pause or blank out a little because I'm getting something and I just don't know what it is yet. Okay, so we hit the mind, we hit the body, and now we're at the soul. When it comes to the soul, it's really beautiful to create that kind of balance, because that's more about your connection to your higher self, your connection with your guides, your connection with your angels, your connection with God, the universe, all. And the things that you can do to create balance there is just paying attention to, I'm getting something I have to talk about. Sorry, I have to go back to the body. So it's bringing forward food. So also with the body, okay, pay attention to what you're consuming, because when you're consuming foods that have like a low vibrating energy around them, so a lot of processed foods, it's not necessarily going to give you the best bodily experience. It can cause a lot of problems with your gut health, and it's got a lot of sugars. Anything that's really refined, it's not going to create. Now, you're totally allowed to eat Snickers and pizza, but just don't make a constant meal out of them. And then I'm getting chicken, okay? So if you're someone who consumes meat, it might be in your best interest to just kind of look at where you're getting these products from, because the energy that you consume from the meat is going into your body, right? So you want to maybe consider, you don't have to, but maybe consider looking into like free range chicken versus chickens that are pumped with hormones and are only raised to be slaughtered. And I'm sorry for the word slaughtered, but it's a reality. We're big kids, right? We're big kids, we can handle it. So yeah, paying attention to the foods that you're consuming with the body as well, and not necessarily ordering takeout every single day, and choosing options that are just going to be better overall for your health. And also, if you're confused about what to eat, there are nutritionalists that exist. YouTube has endless options of healthy things that you can look into. You can also talk to a doctor who could recommend a nutritionalist. A lot of the times insurance covers nutritionalists. But yeah, there are options. There's never a no. There's always going to be, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the soul. Creating these pockets of time where you can have presence with yourself, your higher self, with God, it's going to do nothing but help create alignment. And when you have alignment, you're going to be placed in the receiving mode. And that is how you can connect and receive messages from your guides, from your higher self, from spirit, from maybe your grandmother who passed away, who's been trying to get a hold of you, but you've been just too preoccupied in your head So easy ways to kind of combat the noise is meditation. Now, you don't have to meditate traditionally. Meditation can mean a lot of things. It can just be a small moment of silence and gratitude for just being alive, gratitude for feeling love, gratitude for being able to eat food, gratitude for being able to create movement with your body. Meditation can also be done with your eyes wide open. You can take 3 minutes of time, even a minute, if that's all you say you have to spare. Put your phone away and just walk and see what you notice on that walk. See if there's a color that sticks out that makes you feel something. See if you hear something in the background. Is there a bird song that has just kind of chirped its little way into your heart? Just taking these tiny moments of gratitude, of prayer, of meditation, and then spending communion and having these connections with your higher self, with your guides. It's only just going to, like I said, create this moment of alignment to put you in the receiving mode to get messages. This isn't just any, like, you don't have to do any of this. This is just tips that I find have helped me get to a much better place. And it's always just kind of, I don't know, it's like building blocks. It doesn't start, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's okay if you can't get it all at once. And it took me, honestly, years to get to a place where things were sort of everything makes sense now. This isn't about perfection. There's no such thing as perfect. This is just about fluid recalibration. That was nice, right? Fluid recalibration. So yeah, in times where you're feeling like you might have anxiety, kind of create a little like emergency recentering kit. Maybe you can listen to YouTube and pick out and save a favorite 3-minute meditation, or come up with a mantra that makes you feel centered. Mani Padme, just look things up. They're all over the internet. Trust yourself, because only you know what is going to be right for you, and you'll know when it's right because it'll just come naturally. And like I said, I've done 1,000 different workouts and I've hated a lot. I've hated so many of them, but I'm obsessed with yoga. I've done almost 100 consecutive days of yoga, and like, it's truly to the point now where if I don't do it, I feel weird. Like, I feel like I forgot something at home. So yeah, consider areas where you feel too stretched out or too thin, because that's your body telling you, hey, we are not aligned here. Things aren't feeling good. And then, notice that that's the part of you that's calling for attention, and sit with it for a few minutes. You don't have to act on anything necessarily right away, but just sit with it and see, if you give yourself the time and you give yourself the patience, you'll be able to, create a new world for yourself. And just trust that you have the tools within you, and they've always existed within you, and they always will exist within you. You just have to be ready to strike the match, right? And when you're ready, it'll come to you. So yeah, it's not a destination. Balance is more a way of returning to yourself. And yeah, you've got what it takes, and I'm going to be rooting you on from the sidelines. And so are your guides, and so are your angels and your ancestors, who are so proud of how far you've come. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. And if you like this, please subscribe, tell your friends, and let's all be friends. I can't wait to talk to you guys again next week. So until then.